the main thing is to attempt to get to the final. That is for sure. I think we've got a really tough game on Wednesday. These are a very well organised side. And more importantly, they've got a cause. They're fighting for a cause. You know, the Christian Eriksen situation seems to have galvanised them tighter together. They've always been a pretty solid nation. You know what you're getting from the Danes in many ways. They're not a boom and bust nation, footballing-wise. But they've got a cause that they're fighting for. And for any team to lose the first two games at group stage, manage to get out of the group and get the momentum that they've got is... they'll take some beating, that is for sure.
Stuart, from an England perspective now, it's very hard to find any box that they haven't ticked. Watching them again last night, it feels like, Hevery plays well. The team set up, they hadn't scored from set pieces. They get 2 set pieces last night and score. Yep. So it feels like I can't really find an area where I go, do you know what? I think England might be a bit of an issue. I just can't see anything at the moment.
No, up to now, and as Harry said in his previous interview there, so far so good, and that's right. And you're absolutely spot on, Cash. They've nailed a couple of set plays. They keep clean sheets. They can score goals. They've been pretty interchangeable with players. What I would say, it's near enough been a consistent 9 players. I think going into the game on Wednesday, I think all of us would say goal is the same. Probably back four's the same. 2 holders are the same. Sterling will play, Kane will play, and it just leaves you 2 positions, and that's been the case probably in most of the games.
Yeah, and Stuart, I said earlier in the show, and I talked about previous managers, and one that you played under. Well, you played over. I talked about Bobby Robson. I said I felt also Gareth Southgate. And as you do, as a player, you learn off of managers. I thought Terry Venables and some of the things he's done and the way Terry handled things, I felt Gareth had learnt a hell of a lot from Terry. And I have been speaking to him over the years on the odd occasion. He spoke very highly of Terry Venables. And I feel Gareth has found his own way of doing what Terry did very well, with the style of play, with the selection of players, and the amount of leaders that England have got in their team, like you had in '96.
He's built, we're not just talking about this tournament in isolation here. You're going back over time. I mean, Gareth, if you talk about Gareth's journey at international level, he's played, so he's been cute, he's picked up the messages, he's had good experience with varying coaches and picked up some of the things that have empowered him as a manager. Also, as well, he's very humble, Cass. You know what I mean? He's not got an ego, Gareth. He's quite happy to take things. He's quite happy to every day potentially think to himself, I need to learn a bit more about this job, So he doesn't think he's a finished article in any way, shape or form. And what he's done, he's galvanised a group with his own experience, at under-21 level, bringing the young players on, and what it's like to be the under-21 manager, supporting a major senior coach. And the biggest thing about him, I think, the biggest recommendation I can give him, above a lot of England managers, he cares about the whole process, not just about the little team that he works with now, the team that sits at the top of the pyramid of English football, the senior team. I think he takes an interest and cares about all the younger age groups as well as what he does with the seniors as well. And that to me was always the key. I've said it many, many years ago when I worked inside the FA. If you're going to be successful, the younger teams have got to be successful first before the senior teams are. And Belgium are seeing that now. We're talking, Belgium have not won anything at any age group. So they don't win anything at senior level. And that's not a surprise. Players have got to know what it's like to win in a national shirt at whatever age group before they'll win at senior level. And that seems to be the pathway that it takes. And Gareth realised that, I think, and give some of these younger age groups a double handful to get their hand on a trophy. And then all of a sudden, they've taken those experience with them, the Fodens, Calvert-Lewin, Sancho's, people like that have got winners' medals for the country. Lifts their self-esteem. And also he's galvanised this team spirit that it's all there for all of us to see outside. We look in and see a picture of the team, but full well they're really together as a group.
Yeah, absolutely. That togetherness certainly shines through, and that's come across from all the players, those that are involved directly in the match day, or even if they're not, we've heard from all the players saying we still have a job to do, which might sound obvious to say, but sometimes you will have dissenters in a camp who aren't happy, but yet it does seem as though that isn't the case whatsoever, and that obviously must stem from Gareth Southgate and what he's been doing within the England camp, and what's also interesting with him, and it's something we discussed earlier on with his lineups, sometimes he's picked lineups that others have been critical of, thinking maybe it's too defensive, or he's not playing Jack Grealish, for example. He hasn't gone down the popular route. He's stuck to what he believes is the right team, and now it's paying dividends. Yeah,
there's a misconception potentially, and I'm talking from a footballing aspect here, that he's a soft touch or whatever. There was. I don't think there is now. Because people in the game, as you've rightly pointed out, he'll make the tough judgment calls, and I'll give you one or two real examples of that have happened over the last month, if you like. He put Henderson in the group, where a lot of people were saying shouldn't be in the group, not good enough for one reason, not fit enough, you name it, can't take injured players. He knew the worth of Henderson. He knew the worth of Maguire. We saw that last night, both on the score sheet. Absolutely delighted for both of them. But because he knows what they give the group, he was prepared to wait. Not a popular choice in some quarters. Going into the first game, by the way, there was a lot of people shouting and hollering and rattling about Sterling shouldn't be playing. Gareth knew his worth. You know what I mean? All those people have pulled their necks in now because Sterling's probably carried this team, by the way, in certain games. He's made judgment calls. Everyone wants Grealish and Foden in. They're the popular choices, they're the sexy choices. He hasn't done that all the time. They played their part as a group member, but he's picked the team that he thought was right, and credit to him for it.